Turkey's Izmir province, with people trapped beneath the rubble, and reports suggest at the moment at least 4 people have been killed. The earthquake struck 11 miles off the coast at a depth of 10 miles. The tremors felt along Turkey's Aegean coast, and it caused some mini tsunamis as well in many of the low-lying coastal areas there. It was centred northeast off the Greek island of Samos. Turkish media have showed the wreckage of a multi-storey building. This is in central Izmir. People climbing in to try and reach anyone who might be trapped inside, and there have been several other building collapses through pictures that we've seen coming in through this afternoon. Our Europe correspondent Adam Parsons joins us now, who's been following what's happening. Dramatic images coming in all the time, Adam. At the moment, four people we believe dead, 120 injured. But from what we've seen of those pictures, is that likely to rise, do you think?
Well, we're seeing, clearly very significant devastation across a wide area. Now, when this earthquake first happened, it seemed to be affecting both Greece and Turkey. So those two countries have both been affected. I think initial reports were largely about Greece and were striking quite an optimistic tone. The island of Samos had been hit hard. But I think then attention moved quite rapidly to Turkey and to Izmir. Now, I think it is worth emphasising, this was a very significant earthquake. The magnitude has been estimated at something between 6.6 and up to 7.1. And the tremors going all the way to Istanbul in Turkey, to Athens in Greece, and some of the images we have seen of the effects of that have been very, very striking. Also, reports of these mini tsunamis occurring, of large waves coming into coastal areas, flooding. But I think the main issue at the moment is buildings, particularly older buildings, that have collapsed. That certainly has happened in Greece, but clearly has happened very significantly in Izmir. And at times like this, it becomes very hard to estimate casualties because of the simple fact that when you see huge piles of rubble, it's very, very hard immediately to know how many people were in those buildings, which buildings have been brought down, and who, frankly, is underneath those rubble. So we're seeing plenty of images of that rubble being carved through, of rescuers trying to get to people caught in the rubble. One hesitates to say ever that numbers of casualties will rise, but certainly at times like this, it's very, very hard to come up with any exact figures.
Adam, just looking at some of the reaction, I think in the last few moments the French government have offered publicly any assistance that Turkey and Greece might need following this and what's happening. And of course, it's all taking place during a global pandemic, isn't it? And something like this happens, and we saw it with what happened in Beirut, the horrible explosion there, and concerns about public health around the pandemic, are relegated to a secondary concern when something like this happens.
Yeah, I think that is right. And I mean, clearly, at the moment, COVID and the effects of it have been devastating across so many nations, including Turkey and widespread across Europe. Very interesting, actually, that Greece has had to deal with the question of how to manage COVID in a place like Moria, the refugee camp where people are packed in so tightly. That camp itself has had outbreaks and has also had a big fire. And I think the Greeks learned a lot about how to manage infection control at a time like that. But when you have an earthquake, when you have a breakdown in infrastructure, now, as I emphasise, we still don't know how much damage has been done to crucial infrastructure, to water, to heating, to hospitals, to ambulances and so on. That will be important. But Izmir, that province and the city are at places densely populated. You are talking about millions of people. And at a time when you have this infection that is spreading around, when we talk about social distancing, about the importance of wearing masks, then to talk about those things at a time when people are scrabbling through rubble looking for victims of this earthquake, those two things simply may not go together. So you are going to have those twin perils of clearly dealing with the after effects of the earthquake, but also doing so trying somehow to pay cognizance to the effects of coronavirus at the same time. It's not something, frankly, that has happened in Europe or in Turkey over the course of the past year, so we are entering, in a sense, into uncharted territory.